So the next time you hear a manager or director or anyone else who was not part of the core foundation of that company boasting about their journey to the top, remember they will force you to come to the office. The tech industry prides itself on innovation, but when it comes to inclusion, it's still stuck in the past. In the workplace, female engineers often see their hard work discredited or handed off to someone else for recognition. It's as if their efforts are invisible, overshadowed by those who fit the expected profile. The entire organization jokes, but everyone puts a blame on that new joiner that he is unable to learn the stuff. What was once a dream job quickly turns into a nightmare. It's the reality that many of us live, but few dare to speak about. This is the untold story of the software engineering world, and it's time you knew the truth. Welcome to the hidden side of software engineering, where the reality is far from the rosy picture painted by HR and recruitment ads. They say the corporate world is where dreams are made, where innovation meets opportunity, and where hard work is always rewarded. But what if I told you that behind those polished glass walls and fancy job titles lies a darker truth, one that no one talks about, but everyone feels? Welcome to the hidden side of software engineering, where the reality is far from the rosy picture painted by HR and recruitment ads. In this video, I will be peeling back the layers to reveal the unspoken truths of corporate life in tech. Truths that will make you question everything you thought you knew about this industry, from the illusion of job security to the harsh reality that in the end we are just laborers in a system designed to benefit the few. So buckle up, because what you are about to see isn't just another corporate expose. It's the reality that many of us live, but few dare to speak about. This is the untold story of the software engineering world, and it's time you knew the truth. So just imagine yourself, it's a new job, it's your first day, you're walking into the office, and you're very eager to learn, you are ready to contribute, and your manager assigns a task to you. So you will ask your peers or seniors about that task, like how to approach that task, with what are the repositories, where the code base is, and your seniors, suppose they tell you that we don't know, or we are busy right now. And this cycle keeps on happening. As soon as you approach someone, they will say, we are busy, or they will just give some random response which might not be helpful for you. So they refrain from sharing the knowledge, and I don't know why. Probably because of their jealousy, insecurity. So, what impact this creates on that new intern or the new person is that the pressure keeps on mounting as the deadline looms, and manager expects the results. But how can you deliver it when you're kept in the dark? You're left to fend for yourself in a sea of unknowns, right? So, in a field where collaboration should be key, withholding knowledge becomes a weapon. The new joiner is left isolated, their potential stifled by a lack of support from those who should be guiding them. What was once a dream job quickly turns into a nightmare. The cycle continues, new joiners come and go, struggling alone, while the team remains stagnant. Their refusal to share knowledge stifling not just one person but the entire organization. The entire organization chokes, but everyone puts a blame on that new joiner that he's unable to learn the stuff, whereas the fault is in the person who was unable to teach that in turn. So the second dark reality of software engineering world is the biases. In this high stake world of tech interviews, where skill should speak louder than anything else, bias creeps in, and in female candidates often face trivializing questions. Instead of focusing on her qualifications, they question her ability to handle the pressure. Many talented female engineers find themselves shrugged off, not because they lack skill, but because they don't fit a biased mold. Religious judgments, though often unspoken, cast a long shadow over hiring decisions. Questions about cultural fit become thinly veiled excuses for discrimination, leading to qualified candidates being unfairly rejected. Even when they do get the job, the battle doesn't end. In the workplace, female engineers often see their hard work discredited or handed off to someone else for recognition. It's as if their efforts are invisible, overshadowed by those who fit the expected profile. For those from the minority religions, the struggle continues long after the hiring process. Their ideas are often dismissed, ignored, only to be rebranded and accepted when presented by someone else. The bias isn't just in hiring, It is at every level of their professional journey. These experiences aren't isolated, they are systematic. Female engineers and those from minority religion face hurdles not because of their lack of ability, but because of ingrained biases that question their worth at every turn. The tech industry prides itself on innovation, but when it comes to inclusion, it's still stuck in the past. So, the third dark reality is all software engineers are basically laborers. So, the modern tech office, often touted as the hub of innovation, is more akin to an assembly line that you might think. Let me tell you, software engineers, the backbone of every tech company, are treated more like a laborers in a factory than the creative minds they truly are. Day in and day out, the work is monotonous. What you do is debugging, refactoring, pushing features that barely move the needle. The tasks are repetitive, hours long, and the expectations are very high. Yet, despite doing the most amount of work, they often receive the least recognition. While the engineers toil away, those at the top believe it's their grand ideas that drive the company forward. They see themselves as the visionaries, the masterminds behind the success, while the engineers are merely executioners tasked with bringing those ideas to a life. The reality is stark. The engineers who do the most amount of work are compensated the least. The pay gap between them and the managers is wide. A reminder that in the corporate hierarchy, those who labor are valued less than those who claim to lead. To those at the top, engineers are just cogs in the machine. The executive and the managers reap the rewards, claiming ownership of ideas and successes, while the engineers remain in the shadows, their contributions taken for granted. In a world that glorifies innovation, the software engineer is reduced to a laborer, working long hours on repetitive tasks, underappreciated, underpaid, while the credit and reward flows upwards in the hierarchy. It's a system that thrives on the creativity of the many but only rewards the few. Another dark reality of the tech world is they will force you to come to the office. The modern office, a place where everyone is on display, constantly performing, pretending to be busy, eager to impress the managers who are always watching. It's a theater of productivity where appearances often matter more than the actual output. For introverts and true innovators, I'm repeating again, for introverts and true innovators, the office can feel like a hostile environment. It's not a place of quiet focus and creativity. It's a stage where socializing and networking are often prioritized over real work. Those who prefer solitude and deep thought are often sidelined, their innovations mocked or dismissed as eccentric. So, team bonding, they call it, right? It is a facade designed to make you feel like you are a part of a family, but for many, it's just another form of pressure, a forced socialization that eats into personal times and drains our energy. Managers will push you to attend, certainly suggesting that your career depends on it. These events, often touted as essential for team cohesion, are anything but their time wasting rituals where people pretend to bond, but the truth is, the office is rarely a place where real friendships are formed. It's a battleground of competition where everyone is out to prove themselves, often at the expense of others. Working from home, where the real productivity happens, free from the constant interruptions, the pointless meetings, and the forced interactions, employees can finally be themselves. They can focus on meaningful work, live their lives on their own terms, and save the precious hours wasted on commuting. In the end, the push to return to office is less about productivity and more about control. It's about maintaining the illusion that office is the center of the work universe when in reality the best work is often done far from its walls. The truth is, working from home allows employees to be their most productive, their most creative, and their most fulfilled living life on their own terms, not under the watchful eye of a manager and not to be micromanaged by their managers. So coming on to the last dark reality of tech world for this video. Otherwise, I can stretch on for long and long and long, and I can write a whole book on the dark realities. But I don't want to stretch this video long. So the last dark reality of the tech world is 90% of the people are hired. So, in every corporate hierarchy, there are few who truly believe that they have earned their spot through sheer brilliance and hard work. But the reality is, 90% of the people you will see in the meetings giving those lectures are there not because they are exceptional, but simply because they have been there around long enough, their meetings are filled with unnecessary talks on how to improve, how to be more innovative, how to climb the corporate ladder. But the irony is, many of those who are giving this advice aren't even competent enough to follow it themselves. They are there because of seniority, not because of skill or insight. Let's not forget who truly built these companies. The handful of founders who took the risk, put in the hours, turned an idea into reality, they laid the foundation. But as the company grew, it became a machine that needed bodies to fill positions, not necessarily the minds to drive the innovation. So now the company runs on an autopilot managed by those who have climbed the ladder through time, not talent. They think they are special, that they have something unique to offer, but in reality, they are just cogs in the machine. They are to maintain the status quo, not to innovate. These directors and managers may tell stories of how they made it, offering tips on leadership and success, but the truth is far less glamorous. They have simply stayed in the game long enough to be promoted, not because they have brought anything special to the table. It's the seniority, not skill, that has put them in those seats. In the end, it's the everyday workers who keeps the wheel turning, who innovate, and who truly understands the product. The rest, they are just filling space, riding the wave of a company built by a few and run by even fewer. So the next time you hear a manager or director or anyone else who was not part of the core foundation of that company boasting about their journey to the top, remember, it's not always talent that gets you there. Sometimes it's just time. So that's it for this video. Knowing the truth is first step towards making a change, whether you're just starting out or have been in this industry for years. It's crucial to recognize these patterns and understand that you are not alone. We all are part of this system, but that doesn't mean we have to accept it as it is. So what you can do, start by speaking up, by pushing back against the norms that don't serve you, and by finding your own path in this maze of corporate expectations. It's time to redefine what success means in this industry for yourself and for those who come after you.